Hello everyone, I guess it's finally time for the first project of DC Studios' DCU. And before we get started, that DC Studios logo that they use, the Creature Commandos, I like it, but I also find it a bit plain because you just see Superman flex some chains away and then it's like DC Studios. I kind of wish we saw a bit more of the characters from the DC universe. Would have been nice to see like a Flash and a Batman and stuff like that, but hey, you know what? The logo design itself, great. And I love the fact that they're calling this the DCU, because the DCEU or the DCCU were always dumb names. I always thought that they should have just called the DCEU the DCU, because it makes the most amount of sense and it works well with like the MCU, the DCU. And this is also the start of the Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters as well. Now, I don't really get why we're starting with this thing outside of the man, the myth, the legend himself, James Gunn, who actually wrote every single episode of this show. And the way the continuity works in this show is also very weird, because this is technically a sequel to The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, and it actually makes references mainly to the Suicide Squad, but I think that there's one reference that I'll talk about later that actually goes to Peacemaker. However, this is not part of the DCEU, because obviously we have a new Superman. So how does continuity work? And nobody understands it. But let's just get into this show, shall we? So, basically, after the Suicide Squad, I think this was actually explained in Peacemaker as well, or talked about in Peacemaker, Amanda Waller was kind of banned from having a Suicide Squad kind of running about. So, instead, we're getting a Suicide Squad, but without the blowing up headset full of monsters. Yep. And we have to take care of an Amazonian sorceress from Themyscira, who seems to be the villain of the show. Also, before we get into the cast, I would just like to say that I like how the way that the episodes work, because each episode, like, we have a storyline throughout the season, which takes some twists and turns, which I find very interesting. But also, every episode focuses on a different character's backstory, so that you get to learn them about them and care about them. Now then, let's just get straight into the cast, because that's what I do here. Starting off, we have Indira Varma, which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right, who voices Bride. And as you may have guessed from the design and also potentially the name, yes, she was created to be the bride of Frankenstein himself. Well, Frankenstein's monster, let's be honest here. But also, everyone calls that guy Frankenstein anyway, even though officially it's Frankenstein's monster. The creator is named Frankenstein. And she has this tough personality, but over the course of the show, she starts to care a little bit more. Like, she's one of those people who is like, I care, but I won't show it. I only care when it is actually needed. Next up, we have Sean Gunn, the brother, I think it was, of James Gunn, and also someone who always needs to be in a James Gunn project. And starting off, he is actually back as Weasel from the Suicide Squad, where he portrayed the character Weasel. But that's not all, because also he is here as my personal favorite character of this show, called G.I. Robot. I'm a big fan of this robot because, let's be honest here, it's just a simple robot. Alright? He just wants to kill Nazis. That's all he wants. He gets so excited when he gets to kill some Nazis. And you know what? It's a simple thing like that I like. However, don't let him online, because nowadays everyone's called Nazis. Next up, we have Alan Tudyk. I'm bad with names. I'm sorry. As Alex Sartorius, also known as Dr. I'm gonna give it my best, Phosphorus, let's hope I pronounced that right, who is a scientist back in the day, who has turned, well, into a radioactive nuclear skeleton kind of guy. And I like how sarcastic this guy is. Big fan of that one. Next up, we have Zoe Chow as Nina Mazursky, who is, I guess you could say, also known as Fish Lady, but that's the best way to describe it. Also, she is kind of attractive as well, but I like her. I like the shyness that we get from her, and also, technically, she is the most useless character on this team, and I'm already questioning why she's even on this team, because outside of water, she can't do anything. Unless she's in the ocean, she's useless. She's kind of like a worse version of Aquaman. And then next up, we have David Harbour as Eric Frankenstein, you know, the monster, who throughout the show is just searching for his bride. And yeah, I like what they do with him. Let's just say that, because he's not really all that good, but nobody here is. And then finally, I guess for the main Creature Commandos cast, we have Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., someone who the internet is very upset with because he doesn't have silver, gray, white hair in Superman. He just has black hair. And he is the father of the Rick Flag who died in the Suicide Squad, which, you know, the continuity, which is weird. Because, like, the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker are connected to the DCU. The only thing is that Justice League scene at the end of Peacemaker, yeah, you just have to pretend that doesn't exist. But anyway, I like him as the leader. He tries to keep everyone under control. I also like this new thing that they do in this show, because like with the Suicide Squad, what they did was they implanted bombs into people's heads, and if you disobeyed, boom, there you go. However, this time around, it's actually a shock device that's implanted in their brain, and they'll feel a really painful shock. So that's good. And also, these ones are monsters. If you implant a bomb into their head and you blow it up, who knows if they're even gonna die. We don't have official news about that. However, that is not the only people that we have, because let's talk about 2 more cast members, because next up we have Viola Davis back as Amanda Waller. And I will say this, even beforehand, even way back in the year of 2016, I already thought this, but perfect casting. I'm a big fan of Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, an actual big fan. And to be honest, you've seen the other stuff, right? Because she's just the same as she was there. So there you go. And then finally, I guess, you know, we need an actual villain for this show. So we have Cersei, the Amazonian sorceress from Themyscira, and she has an army known as the Sons of Themyscira, which already kind of causes a bit of confusion, because it's like, I thought that was a place full of women. What do you mean sons? But she basically just wants to kill a princess, and the Creature Commandos have to stop her. I'm a big fan of this show. You know, James Gunn really just knows what to do when he makes a show or a movie. Because I've been a big fan of James Gunn ever since he joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And to be honest, in the superhero genre, I guess, he hasn't made anything that I disliked. He has made one thing, though, where I'm kind of iffy on. And that is the holiday special from Guardians of the Galaxy. But that's also because of the fact that it focuses on 2 characters who are kind of like Wade from the Sonic movies. Okay, the characters are good when they are in a movie, but when they are the focus, it's kind of, you know, like too much of a good thing. But I still enjoyed that one, because James Gunn just knows what to do. That's why I am a big fan of James Gunn being in charge of DC right now, because of the fact that he knows what to do. And it just shows, because also James Gunn likes his out-of-the-box characters and stuff like that. And that's what you get here. I mean, Creature Commandos? Before they announced this, I didn't even know who these people were. And I know 90% of the people on this planet, maybe even 95, also don't know who Creature Commandos are. But I'm interested to see, like, what James Gunn is gonna do with the future of this universe. But as his first foray, I'm a big fan of this show. So let's just get straight into the final verdict, shall we? Because I don't really have, outside of spoilers, I don't really have much else to talk about. So, my final verdict for this show is actually kind of difficult. Because the fact that I'm like torn between 2. Because it's like on that line where it's like it could go either way. Whichever way the pendulum swings is kind of how I'm feeling. And that's between an 8 and a 9 out of 10. But I think I've decided to still go with a 9 out of 10 for Creature Commandos. Because it's just that good. And if you haven't watched it, I would recommend that you watch it, because also today is when the final episode aired, so the whole show is done. I thought it was gonna be 8 episodes, turns out it's only gonna be 7, and I'm also interested to see what they're gonna do with season 2, because this show has been announced to be getting a 2nd season last year, which was actually just a month ago, but still, I find it fun to just say last year. Also, to anyone who's like, where's the MCU? Yeah, we'll get back to that next week. Don't you worry about that one, okay? We're just gonna do an intermission. We're just gonna do an interruption for, like, this one. And then we're gonna do... Also, what I really liked was the music in this show. Because, like, in the episodes, which I actually did forget to talk about, spoiler talk now I think about it. But, I'll mention it here. In the episodes, like, there are moments when the music They have like a song that like fits really well with the situation that is happening right now, and I really like that. I mean, James Gunn is known to kind of do that. I mean, if you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he's been known to kind of throw music in there, so I'm a big fan. But I'm gonna call it here because of the fact that, you know, spoilers await. So, high recommendation, definitely go out and watch it, and if you have watched it, please comment it down below and let me know your thoughts. But with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if you're not already, turn on notifications, and don't forget to check out my Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. And I guess I will be seeing you guys next week for my review of Agent Carter, and I'll be seeing you guys Saturday for, I have absolutely no idea what kind of video, but Sunday for Dragon Ball Daima, and in July we'll continue on this whole DC Studios talk because of the fact that then will be Superman time, baby. Bye.